and welcome to Making a Comeback. In this video series, I want to talk about what it takes mentally, emotionally to make a comeback. Let's say you've been great in the past in one area, and what happened is that today you've lost your drive, you lost your motivation. Maybe you're no longer great in that area, or maybe you were successful in business and now you are no longer successful due to whatever reason. And I want to talk about what does it take to make a comeback? What does it take to get back on your feet and get back on the horse, so to speak? And I want to talk about my own life too, so you have a little bit of an idea of why this is an important topic to me. Because at one point in my life, I was very, very successful. I lost everything. I went through a depression, and after I had to recover from it and come back and rebuild my life. And those were the lessons that really shaped me, shaped the person that I am today. And I want to talk about those lessons and what it takes and how do you get through those difficult times and what are the most important things. So that's what this series is all about, and let's get started. So if you're trying to make a comeback, what does that mean? That means that things will not be exactly how they were in the past, okay? And that is important for you to understand. You can't set the same goals. You can't expect to be in the same place. Why is that? Because you are smarter today, you have more experience, you have different experiences, you learn certain things, and it's not going to be exactly the same experience. So what does that tell you? That tells you that you need new goals, and that is the key factor here. So you need to make, let me write it down, you need new goals in regards to that. And the reason why you are not where you want to be today is because you don't have any goals. Okay, so the first step in making a comeback is to define and set new goals. And those goals have to be goals that motivate you, not because you think you should be at a certain place or because it is expected of you, but those should be goals that are right for you. Okay, that's the first step. Maybe today you have a lot of problems, or maybe you're far, far from where you want to be. And if you have a million problems, what happens to people who have a lot of problems? They get overwhelmed. And if you get overwhelmed, what happens usually? You don't do anything. It's not like you're trying to manage everything and trying to take care of a lot of things at the same time, because usually what happens is your motivation goes down and you can't get anything accomplished because you lose your spirit, you lose your energy, and so forth. So the next step is you need to solve one problem at a time, and even if it's just a small problem, take one challenge each day, and after, let's say, 30 days, your life looks already a lot better. So first, one problem at a time. Okay, that's the next thing that you should look at. So if you make a list of all your issues or problems or the things that you need to resolve, start with one and then tackle the next and then the next. And that's how you're going to feel better emotionally about getting back on track. The next step is to understand, why do you really want your goal? Why do you want to get back, let's say, to a place where you used to be? What is the reason for that? And you have to understand, goals are motivation for you, but the reason behind those goals are more important. So the why. So ask yourself, why do you want to get back there, okay? And then think about reasons, because those reasons are going to be stronger. Those are going to be your driving force that are going to motivate you to make a comeback. Typically, when people have, let's say, a period in their lives where things have gotten off track, they fall into a depression, or maybe some more, maybe some less. But it's a feeling of where you don't really feel at ease with yourself, where you really feel like things are not the way they should be. So you've gotten off track. And being in a place of a depression is not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a good thing because it shows you what is wrong with your life, where you went wrong. Maybe you felt you needed to fulfill other people's expectations, and the way to get back to the place where you should be is you need to find yourself. So let me write that down. So find yourself, what does that mean? You need to get back and take a piece of paper and a pen and write down what are your strengths, what are your talents, which areas of interest do you have, what really interests you, and what is the one thing that you can do better than anyone else, okay? So once you find yourself and once you find your true self, that's when you can go into the right direction again, okay? So it is key to maybe do a personality test, maybe brainstorm. I have actually a great tool that I'm going to give you. It's the Goal Setting and Life Planning tool, where you can find out what it is where you're really good at and what's really in your heart that interests you. So finding yourself is key to making a comeback, so you know where you're really good at. And you also know where you're not so good at, what your weaknesses are. And once you know what those are, you can find ways to deal with those. Maybe other people need to help you in those areas. Or maybe you're trying to do something really hard in an area that's not really your strength, and that's why you're not really moving forward. The next thing that is important is to understand that success and failure is all in your head, okay? So whether you have the right attitude or whether you feel bad or whatever your problem might be, having the right kind of mental attitude is going to determine success or failure. It's all in your head. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you're scared of trying to get back on track, but you're scared of failure. Maybe you're scared of rejection. And honestly ask yourself, what is the real problem? Why you're hesitant? Why are you not really giving it your all? Why are you standing with one foot on the brake? And once you figure out what the real reason is, and you're aware of it, that's when you can make the decision to move forward. One of the most important things when it comes to dealing with difficult times in your life is to realize that no one is coming to the rescue. Even people who love you, like your family or your friends, they can do only so much for you. They can maybe encourage you or make you feel better, but they can't really take that burden off of you. They can't really do it for you. And once you realize that no one is coming and no one is going to do it for you, once you get aware of that, that's when you can make some changes. That's when you take responsibility for your own life and you can move forward. And even if it's just baby steps at first, even if it's small things that you start to improve or change, it's going to lead you in the right direction again. So realize that no one is helping you unless you start and unless you make the first step. And that is key in moving forward again. Now, the next thing is that most people feel like they're victims, okay? They're victims of their circumstances because something bad happened to you, like this event happened, or this person hurt you, or this person cheated you, or this person took away something from you, or whatever happened, and you feel like you're a victim. And having that victim mentality is not going to help you. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to improve anything. And that is very, very difficult for a lot of people to understand, because when we feel like the victim, when we feel hurt, we get attention, we get love from people. Oh, poor soul, poor you, whatever happened to you, oh my God, that was really unfair, and so forth. But the problem is, some people stay in that victim role for years, and if you stay in that victim role, you can't really get out of it, and it's not going to change anything. So you need to take responsibility for your own life, and you need to make those changes, and that is key. Let's say you were successful in business and you need money to make it happen. And you think because now you have no more money and you used to have money, that it's not possible anymore. But you need to realize that money is one piece of the puzzle. And you need to realize the power that lies within you. Now, what else do you have besides money? You have talent, you have contacts, you have time, you have energy, you have ideas, and so forth. You have a lot of things that you need to become successful again. And money is maybe just one piece of the puzzle. And let me tell you this, money is never ever the problem. If you have great ideas, money will follow. If you have great ideas, you can present them to people in your life, to friends, whoever, and they will give you money because they like the idea and they will support the idea. So money is never the reason why you're not moving forward. It's always your attitude. It's always believing something wrong, okay? Of course, it helps to have money, but other things are more important. And as I said, your talents, your contacts, and so forth. So you have those things, and don't underestimate those things. So make a list of all the things that you have today, everything that's in your favor, and make a list and look at it and try to make a plan and figure out how could you make it happen without money. And then ask yourself, how can you get the money into your life? Or who do you need to motivate in order to get that money? When it comes to energy, and I don't know, as you get older, what happens is your energy declines. So I'm over 40, and when I started turning 35, my energy level slowly went down, and I didn't believe people who were telling me this, but it's true, and it's not necessarily because it's a bad attitude. It's just, with age, but also with more responsibilities of life and children and family and so forth. Things like that happen. So if you're younger, obviously you have more energy. But once you get older, your energy level sometimes declines. Now, what do you need to do about that? Okay, and here's the key factor. So you have mental energy, you have emotional energy, and you have physical energy. And the first step to move forward is you need to improve your mental and emotional energy. But how do you do that? It's by working on your physical energy. Because you cannot function well if you're in poor physical shape. So the first step, or the starting point of any kind of comeback, is to get into shape, is to work out every single day, and is to improve your nutrition. Okay, and how do you do that? Okay, I would suggest this. Work out first thing every single morning. Let's say you get up at 6 and you have your gym clothes ready next to the bed, and what you do is you just put them on and get to the gym. Okay, that's the first step. Then the second step is to improve your nutrition. And in general, we eat too much sugar, too many carbohydrates, so it's cutting out carbohydrates. But what I would include is green juices. So the green juicing, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you've already started it, but I can tell you this, it makes all the difference in how you feel, in how your general energy level is. And if you start drinking 1 or 2 green juices per day, and what I mean is with the juicing machine, with kale and spinach and things like that, that's when you start to feel better. And what happens once you start to feel better physically, you're going to start feeling better emotionally and mentally. And you need this kind of energy, you need this kind of power so you can function well, so you can do a comeback. And that is the most important point. So the starting point in changing that is improving your physical energy first. And also, if you feel like depressed or you don't feel like that great again, you have to understand that 50% of your depression, of your negative energy and negative mood and so forth, can be eliminated with physical exercise. So start there. And finally, I want to talk about the meaning of your life, okay? And that is key, because if you understand who you are in this world and what your purpose is, that's when you truly excel. So once you figure out why you're here and what your talents are and what you're supposed to do with your life, once you know these things, that's when you have real power. That's when you can really move forward. And that's necessary for motivation. So what I would suggest is, and I have one of the brochures that is included in this program that has a lot of questions about the meaning of life, things like that. You know, ask yourself, for example, if you won $10 million tax-free in the lottery tomorrow, what would you do with your life? Let's say, yeah, of course, you're going to buy a house, you're going to buy the nice car and this, but let's say you've done all that, you've bought all the things you wanted to do. What are you going to do with your time? And once you ask yourself that question, then you will start to realize what it is that you're supposed to do. And that is key in your motivation in moving forward.